Hi, I'm Grace Chin, and I'm very excited to invite all of you to the 25th anniversary screening of Crazy8s. So
You're just going to read it?
Crazy8s is an 8-day short filmmaking challenge and program that provides support and funding to emerging filmmakers to produce a short film and provides training opportunities to crew. It's Crazy8s, so go crazy. Go crazier. Go more crazy. Go even more crazy. Go extra crazy. Go even more extra crazy. Go apeshit crazy. Go
I'm Jess McLeod. I'm the director and co-writer of DTF. So DTF is Sam Krochmal's story, who I've met one time at a weird party.
Hey, my name is Sam Krochmal. I am a co-writer, co-producer, and I play the role of Jonah in this year's Crazy8 film, DTF. When I started writing DTF, I put out a call on Instagram being like, I want to make a queer movie. I want to submit it to Crazy8s, and I don't know how to do that. Please help. And Jess reached out being like, I'm queer and I'm a director. We had a coffee, and to this day, I tell them all the time that it was a connection that was meant to be. DTF is a queer coming-of-age comedy about a young queer writer who is kind of caught up in a sexual bender of sorts, looking for some meaningful connection. And he ends up going on a blind date with a man who turns out to be his old English professor. Awkward moment. They end up having kind of a complicated night together. You know, I'm a gay man. I've experienced the kind of vapid, impersonal hookup culture that queer men deal with specifically. I wanted to write a story that kind of shed some light on that.
It's pretty safe to say that our movie is the horniest movie Crazy8s has ever seen, possibly the gayest. We really made sure that the intimacy coordination was a factor from the first time we did the pitch in person. We were like, how would these two people be intimate? How should this sex be simulated? How should we do this safely but still have so much fun? And I think that the vibe on set was certainly silly, which was my goal.
Mark.
My name is Kevin Ang, and my film is Gone Abroad. It's a semi-autobiographical film about me and my friends when we were 15 years old, studying in a conservative Chinese Catholic school. When my best friend at the time committed suicide, the school actually goes on, along with their family, to cover it up, and me and my friends spent an entire year trying to uncover the truth. I'm a very upbeat person. Sometimes I think to myself that maybe I have this disposition against being sad because I've been through the experience of having someone get to a point where I couldn't quite help them. As I got older, I realized just how much that kind of always in the background, despite the fact that I try to power through it with the way I live my life. I'm dedicating this to my younger self. I mean, that's the one who the story is most about. All that anger and guilt, all that stuff that you keep inside yourself, and you add in the additional pressure of everyone else telling you to keep it to yourself. It's a lot of misplaced grief. Even as I was writing through this, I started, even donating some of my time to Crisis Center BC and, be able to talk to other people who've gone through similar things and realize that a lot of it is just sharing, right? And hopefully now I can contribute to dispelling this fallacy that, you have to be silent whenever we're talking about suicide.
I'm Larissa Thompson. I'm the writer and director of What Are You Supposed to Do with Your Hands, which is a short film about an autistic woman learning how to properly manage her autism symptoms in a really stressful party environment. I had been considering whether or not I had been autistic for years, but I didn't know enough about it. One day I just started learning, and so many of my personal experiences throughout my life just suddenly clicked and suddenly made sense. Something that was really important for us was hiring an actor who was herself autistic. And I think Megan, who plays Kendra, did an absolutely incredible job demonstrating the intensity and the vulnerability that we needed while still being able to play with the dark, absurd comedy that most of the film kind of lives in. When I first started developing the idea, I knew that I wanted to work with a puppet. And through the process of thinking about what puppets mean as metaphors, I came to understanding who the Harpy as a character was. And seeing her become this kind of sassy, fun, but ultimately vulnerable creature was exactly the magic that I wanted to create. I do really, really hope that the film can shed some light on the internal experience of autism spectrum disorder, especially for how it presents in women.
My name's Dave Beamish, and our film is called Our Long Goodbye, and it's about family and love, connection, music, and dementia. The script was written from elements of my own life, including the dementia that runs in my family. It was also inspired by a good friend of mine and his struggle caring for his father. And then the music elements came in from my own love of music and connection with that with my father. Our DP, Andy Brown, brought a lot to the project. We ended up using a Alexa Mini to film this. Peacemaker Studios were one of our biggest supporters. They brought their LED volume wall. This is very much an image playing on these massive LED screens. Imagine like gigantic TVs that are playing what they call driving plates. And this is going on all the walls and the roof so that you get the reflection of the car. We were able to get some incredible shots and do some dynamic camera movements that you wouldn't normally be able to do if you're doing it practically outside. The result is stunning. I'm very, very happy with how it looks.
6 films, 25 years.
My name is Teresa Alfeld. My film is called Toe Pick. It follows the story of Chelsea, a young figure skater who is pushing up against the very conservative constraints of her 90s figure skating world. Ultimately, it's a story of breaking free of control and finding emancipation and pleasure on your own terms. I grew up figure skating in the 1990s. It was overall a really positive experience, but one that I do still have a complicated relationship with. The experience of making a film on ice was quite a bit more complicated. It turns out simple things like moving a camera or a light or having a makeup person show up for adjustments take a lot longer on ice, obviously. I have to say though, this film could not have been made without the absolute overwhelming and incredible support of my choreographer and skating consultant, Jeremy Ten. He ultimately served as a skating consultant and helped work with all the young background skaters. You know, it's always overwhelming and strange to watch something that you've been seeing in your head for months actually manifest on the screen. But you know, as time has passed since we've completed the film, I'm feeling very fulfilled to finally have this idea brought to the screen.
My name is Kevin, and I'm the director of Astronaut. The film Astronaut is playing on a word about the astronaut family, which is a very common practice in the 80s and 90s, where the father would send their kids and wives to a new country like Canada, but continues to work in Asia for a better life. Astronaut is a whimsical drama told through the lens of Tom, an 8-year-old kid with a giant imagination of outer space. Growing up in an astronaut family, as a kid, without a father being around really changes the way how I see things. And I really want to tell young Kevin he isn't alone.
There are a lot of themes in Astronaut that transcend over multiple communities. And I think that in the end, we ended up with a film that I hope that will really connect to a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life.
The film is very heavily on Tom's imagination of outer space And then it's very hard to shoot anything out of space without actually using some kind of sound effects. And I'm very impressed and very, very grateful to see how sound mixing and sound design comes together and makes that moment feel really, really amplified.
If you watch the film closely and you know Kevin, you'll realize that there's a little piece of him in each one of the characters. I think that if young Kevin could see himself now, he would be incredibly proud of the giant leap forward that he's made through directing Astronaut and through being part of Crazy8s.
I first went to a Crazy8s gala in 2018, and I remember just being like starstruck. I remember leaving that gala in 2018 and being like, I'm gonna be in this festival. Whether it's working on a film, whether it's acting in a film, it was like a bucket list item for me.
My very first Crazy8s set was where I met my future husband, who has now become my DP. I would not be in the position that I am today. I would not have the friends that I have today. I would not have my partner that I have today without Crazy8s.
You know, Crazy8s obviously has an incredible history in the city over 25 years, and being part of the indie scene, I think we all view Crazy8s as a bit of a debutante ball, if you will.
This hungry kind of artistic wave that is seeping throughout all of the city and all of it coming down to one place every single year.
Just simply the name Crazy8s attracted top-tier crew and folks that I might not have been able to work with if I was attempting to do this film on my own.
In terms of sponsor, the size of the audiences, it really makes every independent filmmaker dreams come true.
Yeah, so are you interested in Crazy8s? Do you want to spend 4 months writing 24 drafts of your script? Do you want to spend hours upon hours in Zoom production meetings?
If you want to stand out in the rain,
You will laugh and cry, and maybe you'll even bleed for it.
Do you want to spend nights in bed staring at your ceiling, questioning what you're doing entirely?
I still haven't caught up on my sleep. I'm still struggling here.
get stressed and panic when your tech doesn't work.
But then I had a little bit of a panic attack. I've had many of those since then.
Yeah, I'm still breathing and alive.
Crazy8s is for you, and honestly, after all that, I would do it again.
Happy 25th birthday, Crazy8s.